And so alive. Well, hi everybody. My name's Graham Matthews, and as you know, I run Empowered STEM. Empowered STEM is an A-level course provider, and we provide A-level courses in biology, chemistry, physics, and maths for those students that want to enroll in medical, dental, veterinary, financial, and engineering programs at the chosen university in the UK. So I wanted to come in this live stream today, and I want to talk to you about how you can help your team track their progress without obsessing over grades. Because you know how it is, right, parents? You know when it's test day or there's an exam coming up at school. And when they get the paper back, you do ask, well, how did you do? And most teens, they'll say, well, okay. And, well, I got a 78% or I got a 62%. Oh, mom, dad, I almost made the next grade boundary. It was just, I was a few marks away. Oh, the teacher marked hard on this test. It wasn't a fair test. Right. Now, do you notice, parents, of what they're doing is that they're obsessing over the grade, the percentage. They're not looking at what they did and thinking, I wonder what can I learn from this experience? What can I fix? What can I do to improve myself and my grade on the next test or the exam? And parents, you have to admit that you're also caught up in this emotional cycle, aren't you? Because you're grade checking. How did you do? Well, I got a 78%. Well, better luck next time, son, daughter. What you got to do is just study a bit more, isn't it? Or 62. It's a bit low, isn't it? Right. And without you knowing it, what you're doing, parents, is that you're adding fuel to the fire. You're helping your teen, your son, your daughter, get into the emotional reactions. If they did good on a test, if they scored very high, well, fantastic. If they didn't, then they're a bit depressed and a bit down, they're stressed out, and they're blaming school, the exam board, the test, themselves. What happens is that the confidence spikes and crashes. It's like the stock market. If they do well, oh, fantastic. The confidence is really high. If they don't do very well, can't do A-level chemistry or biology. It's too hard. It's a difficult subject. Now, your intention and your teen's intention may be good. Checking the data, checking the percentage that they got on a test or an exam, it sounds like a good idea because you say, well, it's data, Graham, it's a number on the page. But the problem is that the way that you're checking the percentage, the grade and the test, what you're doing is you're fueling your teens' anxiety, you're increasing the pressure that they're feeling in the course, and you're stalling their progress. Because if they feel anxious, if they feel under pressure to perform better on the next test, then what happens is that you stall their progress. You actually slow things down for them. Now, let's have a look then at what the core problem is with checking grades. The core problem, parents, with checking grades, obsessing over grades, is that grades are a lagging indicator of success. They are. They are a snapshot of what happened 2 weeks ago when your teen actually learned the core concept that they're being tested on 2 weeks ago. This is what the grade on the current test or the exam shows them. It seems important though, doesn't it? Well, actually, Graham, come on. I mean, the teacher marked the paper. They put the percentage on the paper. Surely it must be an important piece of information that we need. Well, it is, but in a different way to what you're thinking of. Because academically, what it is this: it is a snapshot of how they're doing in A-level chemistry, for example, at this moment in time. How they're doing in A-level biology at this moment in time. It is a result that they got. Nothing else. But the issue is that it is a lagging indicator of their learning. Because like I said, the grade they got on the test now assesses what they learned over the previous month, for example. And all it is a result. It's a snapshot. But it's 2 weeks old. Now, the reason I say this is because when the grade is written on your teen's test by the teacher, when the grade appears, what it's showing is it's showing the habits that your teen has already formed. It's showing what gaps exist in their knowledge and understanding. It's showing their mindset. And now it's been influenced in the course. Now, do you notice, parents, what I did is took a step back, looked at it from a 30,000-foot view. This is known as metacognition. It's habits. It's gaps in your teen's understanding of the core concepts. It's their mindset. Most parents don't think this way. Okay. Now, why are the grades showing this? Well, the grade is showing the study habits and the revision habits that they have formed. And if they have good study habits and if they have good revision strategies, then the grade's going to be high. If it's lower, maybe this is something that they need to look into. It shows what gaps they have in the conceptual understanding of the core content in the course. If they understood everything, parents, all the core concepts that the teacher taught them, that the teacher told them would be on the exam or the test, then the grade would be high. If it's low, this means there's a gap somewhere in the learning. Also, it's a mindset. Are they feeling confident? Are they feeling resilient? Do they feel that they have the tools and the tips and the strategies that they need in order to be successful? Or are they going in there thinking, I can't do this. This is too difficult. So parents, if you're obsessing over grades, what you're doing is that you're controlling the situation with your teen, but unfortunately, it is without clarity. It's without meaning, because you've joined those parents that obsess over grades, the number. Okay. Now, why is it then that obsessing over grades is for teens? Simple. Your teen feels evaluated all the time. They're constantly being assessed. Do I understand this? Do I get this? Have I done this? And because they're feeling evaluated all the time, because all of a sudden there's a huge pressure put on them to perform on the next test. And I've seen teachers do this. It's, well, you know, what you need to do is that you need to show improvement on the next 2 tests. Otherwise, you'll have to go to mandatory study hall. Because obviously, you're not studying hard enough. That one, by the way, never made sense to me. But because they're being evaluated all the time, they see effort, putting in more effort as being risky. Should I, for example, put time, effort, and attention into studying A-level chemistry? Or should I put it into A-level biology because I'm doing better in A-level biology or A-level maths? They become afraid to make mistakes. Well, I'm going to do the homework. I'll do some past paper questions under time conditions. But you know what I'm going to do is I'll have the mark scheme open. And before I write it down on the page, I'll just look at the mark scheme and yeah, that's what I would have written down if I was going to do it. It's a crutch, parents. And their confidence becomes fragile because they start thinking, gotta do good on the next test. I really have to do good on the next test. Don't know if I can do it. What happens if I don't do it? And everything now starts riding on the next test. Okay. What this leads to is this. What this leads to is avoidance, surface level revision, fear-based studying, and comparison. So let's talk about avoidance first. They avoid studying. Well, I'm not really good at A-level chemistry, and so, well, I know I should be revising, but you know what I need to do is I need to copy my notes over, make sure they're nice and neat and organized. I've got to reread the section in the textbook. Yes, I've got to do that. Oh, I've got to work on this homework. Oh, I've got to do this project here. I'll get around to doing the A level that I'm not very good at, for example, say chemistry. Okay? Or they do surface level revision. Well, I'm just going to pre-read and I'll reread the next two sections, the next couple of chapters in the chemistry book. Yeah, I've done that. Oh, look, I'm going to I'll look up a YouTube video. I'll watch that as well. They're very good at explaining this. And there's this guide I got from the Science Technician. I'll look into this one as well. Passive learning, parents. Passive learning. You know, it's not going to get you the grade, is it? Or they do fear-based studying. Well, the test is tomorrow. Okay, so what I've got to do is this one. I'm going to be up all night studying. I've got the energy drink, the coffee, the snacks, and I'll be up all night studying. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have this like marathon study session, be up all night. I can get maybe like an hour of sleep, and then I'll go in and I'll take the test. I can always sleep when I get in. And I've got to do this because my teacher told me, well, if I don't do better on the next test, the next two tests, I show the improvement, I've got mandatory study hall. And, well, that's going to be embarrassing, isn't it? Having to go down to study hall in sixth form. Right. Or they start comparing themselves to the teens, to their friends. Well, well, my friend, he spends an hour on A-level chemistry. It's just like he just knows what questions the teacher is going to ask, or it just comes easy to him. It's natural for him to do it. He's one of these like naturally gifted people. Well, so-and-so did so much better on the test than I did. And the issue is this, is that the more pressure that you put onto grades for your teen, the more pressure your teen puts onto the grades, the less meaningful progress happens. Okay, the more pressure that you put on to your teen, the less meaningful progress happens, because they start to spiral into what we call panic mode. It's like the fight or flight syndrome, isn't it? Not the best idea. So the question is then, if this is why grade obsession backfires, the question is this: what does real progress look like? Let's flip the coin. What does real progress look like? Well, real progress looks like this: improved thinking. Their explanations, the answers to the questions are more simpler, more clearer, easier for the examiner to understand. They're not writing down absolutely everything they can possibly think of, scribble on the first page, arrow, back page, keep writing everything down, hoping that something must be right. It's got to be worth something, surely. The structure to the answers is exactly what the examiner wants. It's laid out very, very clearly for the examiner to go down and just start assigning all the tick marks, all the points possible. They make fewer mistakes, fewer silly mistakes. Another one is they recover faster from errors. Now, parents, your teen has to understand that the process of learning something, in the process of learning something, you will make a mistake. You will get something wrong. Otherwise, you're not learning something, you're reviewing it because you already knew what it was. And so it's totally natural to make mistakes, totally natural to make errors, but it's how quickly do you recover from them? It's how quickly, we talked about this in a previous live stream, it's how quickly do you recover from the mistakes and improve your grade? Because what they do is this, is yes, they make a mistake, totally natural, but the mistakes, they're analyzed, they're not avoided. Okay? You may notice that your teen tells you, well, you know, mom, dad, I went back to the teacher and I said, well, you know, you see this bit here. Do you think I could get an extra point for this bit? Because it was kind of close to what you wanted. I mean, if you look at it this way, I mean, it makes a bit more sense, doesn't it? Right. Grubbing for a point. No, what they do, they're not avoiding the mistake. They're leaning into the mistake. They're saying, right, what was a mistake that I made? Let me analyze the error that I made. Let me put a framework in place to make sure I don't make the same error again. And the corrections are applied the next time. So the next time that the test comes around, they don't get penalized for making the same mistake 2 times in a row. Because they made the mistake once, they've onboarded it, got the growth mindset, go fantastic. Let me analyze what I did wrong. This is the framework. This is the scaffolding. This is exactly what the examiner wants. Let me do a couple of questions to make sure I really lock this in. Now, the next time I see this type of question on the test, guess what? I'm not making the same mistake again. For example, not putting down units, not putting down significant figures, not doing the curling arrows correctly in organic mechanisms. They have stronger exam technique. All of a sudden, when they're reading the exam question, they really start picking up on the key command words. For example, the difference between describe and explain. The timing gets quicker. So all of a sudden, they can start doing past paper questions and getting them correct to a high degree of accuracy, a minute to mark. And they start getting more marks per question. So for example, with the mechanism question or with the 6-mark essay question in A-level chemistry, they may have started out just saying, well, I got 2 out of 6. Oh, brilliant. And then they keep working at it. And all of a sudden, they're now at the level of getting, say, 4 out of 6 marks, and then 6 out of 6 marks. And this becomes consistent. This becomes the new standard. They show higher consistency. The week is mapped out according to the study schedule, revision plan. It's a regular start time, a regular end time for the study sessions, revision sessions, going over past paper questions. They have steady routines. There's a rhythm. There's a pulse to what they do in their work. And they have fewer emotional swings. Yes, they may be excited if they get a top mark on a test or a paper. You know, they work very, very hard at it. Good for them. But on the other hand, If they didn't do what they expected to get on the test or the exam paper, it's not the end of the world. They just onboard it and say, right, what can I learn from it? How can I improve? How am I going to implement it? Now, all of this, by the way, parents, all of this is what we teach at our courses at Empowered STEM. So let me walk you through the STEM Path method and show you how we actually incorporate this, bake this in to our courses. The STEM Path method, as you know, is a 4-step method: precision diagnosis, conceptual clarity, strategic revision, medical mindset. It's something that we use to help your teen walk the path from where they are up to the A or the A star in A-level maths and A-level science. If we take a look at the first step, precision diagnosis, what we teach your teen is this, is to track patterns and not percentages. By tracking a pattern, what I mean is this: you're looking for, are there any gaps in my knowledge? Are there any weaknesses in my exam technique? Is my timing off? Could it be improved? Am I confident in what I've learned in this module from my teacher? Because what this does is that it changes confusion into clarity. Now, talking about clarity, the second step is conceptual clarity. And conceptual clarity to us means this: we teach your teen the core concepts in A-level maths and A-level science. And we know when it's resonating. We know when it's working, when the explanations to a question asked by them, by the course tutor, becomes simpler, more easy to understand, a stronger connection. There's a stronger connection between topics in year 12 and year 13, synoptic links, and even subtopics in a topic in a specific year. For example, year 12 maths or year 13 biology, right? There's always this synoptic link between the year 12 and the year 13 version of it. There's fewer lucky marks. You know, that, well, you know what? I just happened to look at this question last night, and there it was, right there on the test. Can you believe that? Or, well, I took a guess. Yeah, I took a guess. I thought it could be this. Got a few lucky marks there, didn't I? Because what we know at Empowered STEM is this, is that understanding needs to deepen before grades rise. Because keep in mind, the grade that your teen sees on the test or the exam is an indication of how well prepared they were for the test or the exam. And so when the understanding of the core concepts deepen, the grade rises. Now, the third step, strategic revision. We teach your teen how to study, how to revise, and what are we seeing that we show are indicators of success is how quickly mistakes are fixed. Do they get the test or the exam back? Are they sitting down that evening, looking at it, analyzing the mistakes, not looking to see where the teacher could have given them a possible extra mark here or extra mark there, but they're going in, where can I possibly correct this mistake and understand it and be able to apply it the next time that I see it? We notice how often past errors reappear. Like I said, if your teen understands the core concept, if they fixed the misunderstanding that they have about the core concept, they shouldn't be seeing the same error again on the next test or the test after that because they fixed it. And how confidently are questions attempted, especially questions that they haven't seen before? Because as you know, parents, the A-level exams, they're application questions. And so your teen has to be confident in applying what they know about the concept to a question they've never seen before. because it's not how many hours were spent studying. It's how deep is your understanding of the core concept, how strong is your exam technique. The last step in our 4-step pathway is medical mindset. And this is huge. And so for us, medical mindset, we teach your teen how to think like a doctor, how to have the mindset of somebody that would get the A or the A star in A-level maths and science, and they will be successful at the university degree, and they will have a successful career afterwards. And an indication of this is emotionally neutral tracking. They understand that feedback is data. It's just a number on the page. It's an indication of habits. It's an indication of how well prepared they were. Exam technique is just a number on a page. And most importantly, parents, is this one, is that they understand that the grade is just information. 62, you've got a 78. It's just information. It's nothing at all to do with their identity. And this is the big one, because teens, they do sometimes, they onboard the test grade, and they take it personally. Like, oh, well, if they got a poor test grade, they think it's them, it's their fault. They're not bright enough to do A-level maths or A-level science. Why can't they do it? How come their friends can get good grades and they can't? They take it at the emotional level. And with us, with the medical mindset with us, it's more a case of, no, there is no emotion involved. It's just a grade, feedback. Let's analyze it, put it into a frame, and then move forward. Because when your teen has this kind of mindset, what it is this, is that it stabilizes their confidence and it stabilizes their effort. They get a rhythm going. They get a pulse going. So parents, now you understand the two sides of the coin. On the one side, you can obsess over the grades with your teen, not exactly productive, a good use of your time or their time, doesn't get you the result that you want. Or the other side of the coin is that you can help your teen make real progress. Okay, so what exactly can you do to help your teen? Well, you know when they come home from school with that test result, all right, and you know that they got the test result, maybe their face is all like, oh, seriously, whatever. It's this. Have an open conversation with them, but don't ask them, so how did you do? What was the grade? Oh, I see. Well, better luck next time. Should have studied more. No. Ask them, okay, what do you think improved on this test as compared to the previous test? Because you've been putting some time into it. What do you think's improved? You see, it's an open-ended question. And it isn't one that addresses their beliefs. It's one that addresses their behaviors. And they can go, well, this time I made sure that I didn't make any silly mistakes when it comes to not putting down the units, not putting down significant figures. I made sure that my curly arrows and the organic mechanisms were exactly what they should have been. Right. I did 3 past papers in the week prior to it, so I really understood the concept. What do they do that they can say, this is what I improved on? The second one is track the improvement with them. Track the metric. And so if they say, well, this week, Mum, Dad, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 past papers for A-level chemistry and 3 past papers for A-level biology. Right. I'm going to do them under time conditions. And when I run out of time on the paper, I'm going to swap the pen color from blue to red so I can just keep on going. And I know this was extra time that I put in just to complete the paper. Something that they can track and you can help them track and see the improvement during the week. Did they put the time in? Did they do the three papers? Did they do the one where you change the pen colors? Something which they can track. Help them separate emotion from evaluation. There is no emotion in grades, parents. It's just a feedback loop. And this is probably one of the biggest things that you can do to help your teen out. Help them understand it's nothing personal. It's not at the identity level. It's just, this is a snapshot of where you are right now in the course. And this is based on data which is at least 2 weeks old. Praise the amount of effort that they put in, not the result. If your teen has been diligently spending 2 hours an evening on A-level chemistry and then 2 hours on A-level biology, and they've got everything mapped out during the week, they've got the study schedule pinned to the kitchen, the fridge in the kitchen, well then praise the effort that they're putting in, the effort, not the result. Because the result is data which is 2 weeks old. If you praise the result, what you're doing is that you slip back into your old method, and what you've done is this. You're now obsessing over grades again. You're taking a step backwards, parents. And zoom out. This is a big one. Zoom out. Right, son, daughter, I know you put all the time, effort, and attention into this paper. You put all the effort in. We tracked that. We looked at the one thing you were improving on, and you didn't quite get the grade that you wanted. It's only one test. How many tests, how many exams, how many lab reports are you going to write in your entire life? Not only in A-level science, or maybe, calculations in A-level maths. When you get to university, you're going to have even more tests and papers and exams. And then at your job, same exact thing. And so, in other words, it's not the end of the world. Because teens, they do sometimes catastrophize. It's not the end of the world. If you get one bad test grade, take a breath, recalibrate, move on, keep walking the path up to the A or the A star. Now, is there a story behind this one, parents? Well, of course there is. Look, at Empowered STEM, this is what we do. We help teens just like yours. And we help teens just like yours secure the A or the A star in year 12, year 13, in chemistry, biology, physics, and maths. This is exactly what we do. Is there a story? Yes. Let me tell you about Sophia. Well, Sophia came to us in year 13. She'd been predicted an A star on the UCAS prediction test. And on the mock exam, she got a D. A D! Talk about devastated. Couldn't believe it. How did they go from an A star down to a D? Right. And so what we did, had a conversation with her. She enrolled in our A-level chemistry course. And we had a conversation with her about mindset. And we got to understand this, is that D that you got on the mock exam, it's a snapshot of where you are in the course right now. It is not an indication of how well you will do on the final exam. So she needed to shift her perspective and not take it at the emotional level, just take it at the data level. Okay. And when she understood this, when she understood there's no emotion in the data, in the grades, and we put together a more efficient study plan for her, revision schedule, helped to build out her understanding of the core concepts, worked on the exam technique with her, really reinforced the mindset. Her grade improved. She understood first, and the grade improved second, and the grade moved all the way up to an A star. She walked out of year 13 with an A star in A-level chemistry, and now she's at King's University studying to be a dentist, a top choice university. Now, one thing to keep in mind then is this, is that, did you notice how the grades rise after the progress was already put in? So after the progress was happening, after you put in the time, effort, and attention, after the progress was happening, the grades rise, because grades are a lagging indicator. If you hadn't changed her study skills, revision strategies, bolstered her understanding of the core concepts, worked on her exam technique, if she hadn't moved her mindset, if she hadn't done that, parents, then she wouldn't have seen the progress that she made on herself. And because of that, the grades wouldn't have rose from where they are now, a D, all the way up to an A star. So I need to reassure you about something, parents, and it's this. Look, grades don't tell you how your teen is doing today, right now, right this minute. They tell you how your teen was doing 2 weeks ago, a month ago, after the last test. So what you need to do is you need to help your teen track progress, as in, like I mentioned, core concepts, exam technique, mindset, habits, and not the percentage grade. And if you help your teen track the progress, then what happens is this, is that the pressure drops, because they're not obsessing over the grade. They're just saying, right, I've got the habit now of studying so many hours a day, so many days a week per subject, get everything mapped out. I've got a plan, a blueprint that I'm following. And so I know what I'm doing. And so the pressure drops. And when the pressure drops, what happens is that the confidence stabilizes, because there's a rhythm, there's a pattern, there's a pulse to what they're doing. And when they put an effort onto a subject, maybe A-level chemistry, for example, that they weren't doing very well in, the effort feels safer. They're not feeling, oh, well, am I wasting my time? I could be doing something else. They're going in there with a level of confidence, because they know what they're doing is that they're starting to walk the path. And walking the path, parents, means this, is that they can start walking the path with confidence, because results become predictable. They know if they study in a certain way, and at Empowered STEM, we use the 6 principles of neuroscience. If they study in a certain way, if they revise in a certain way, if they follow the blueprint that they've been given, they know with confidence that the grade is going to rise, because they're putting in the effort, the time, effort, and attention. So parents, if what I'm talking about on these live streams, if they make sense to you, if you're on Facebook, if you're watching this live stream on Facebook, okay, join the Facebook business page, and then you will get announcements of the upcoming live streams, because we do these weekly lunchtimes. Or if you're on YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you'll also get notifications of upcoming live streams. And you'll be able to see all the other live streams that we've done, because we do these live streams where we come out and we show parents the tips, techniques, and strategies that you need in order to help your teen be successful in A-level maths and A-level science. Now, if you're interested in the courses that we offer at Empowered STEM, because at the beginning I did say that we run A-level courses in biology, chemistry, physics, and maths. If you're interested in learning more about our courses, it's really easy. In the description on both Facebook and YouTube, there's a link. You can click on the link. You can fill out a very simple form, and a member of my team will reach out to you and have a conversation with you. And it's a really easy, non-sales, non-committal conversation where you can ask all of your questions. You can tell us where your teen is academically in the course, grade-wise, what the predicted grade is, the aspirational grade, what university they want to go to, what they want to study, all right, how your teen learns. You can tell us everything from your teen's perspective. And we'll tell you about our courses, how they work, how they operate, how we get the A-star grades consistently for students enrolled in our courses, and all the questions that you want to have answered, you can have answered. And at the end of the call, you'll feel well informed and taken care of, and then you can make the informed decision on whether you want to invest in one of our courses. Parents, take care, and